Over 10 years of door knocking knowledge for you today, the do's, the don'ts, and the best practices to make sure that you get the best results. Number one, when it comes to dominating in this door knocking game, you gotta be in a good mood, my friend. You gotta have a smile on your face, you gotta have good energy, and you gotta be ready to get out there and deal with whatever comes with the territory, meaning people being mean, people being nice, and everything in between. You may have dogs chase after you. You may not get good results. Your first day or first couple weeks, it might take you months or a year to make a sale. That's okay, because we're in this for the long haul. And remember, every single interaction matters. How you walk through the neighborhoods, meaning I'm walking by a bunch of houses right now. Everyone's paying attention to me. I may not even be realizing it, but am I carrying myself openly, loosely, again, with a good mood and smile on my face? Or am I upset? Am I bitter? And am I looking suspicious to people? You see, this is key. And when you have the right attitude and you smile, not only are you going to be perceived a lot better, your interactions are going to go a lot better, because you're expecting people to be receptive. You're expecting that you're going to get results, and you're not looking down on door knocking or expecting it not to work and having a piss poor attitude about it. Number two, stop being disingenuous. A lot of people think that they need to do these like sleazy sales tactics or lie, or fake compliment people to build rapport. Look, that's a bunch of BS. Understand that your promptness, your directness, your authenticity, your transparency when you go door to door is one of the most important things. A lot of people, again, are generally suspicious, socially awkward, and they don't really trust strangers. So if I come to the door and I present myself in a very honest and professional way, I'm going to be received a lot better. So when people don't know about sales and they don't receive the right training, they're taught incorrectly. And they're taught improper techniques, we can say, on how to build rapport. You want to focus more on subconscious rapport versus conscious rapport. I've talked about this a lot, meaning mirroring and matching people, right? Having a good energy, using their words, their type of language, basically making them feel as if you're a part of their tribe, that you're one of their friends, that you're one of their peoples. That's what it's about, right? And when you're in rapport with somebody, they're a lot more likely to continue the conversation with you, keep talking, and keep moving the interaction forward. And that's what you want. You want to keep taking the next step and the next step that's correct, or the most correct possible, to get you the next 5 seconds. Because once you earn the next 5 seconds, that gives you the next 10 seconds. Then when you do that right, you get the next 20 seconds, and that's how the game goes. Next, less is more. A lot of people always ask me and have the question, well, what should I take with me, right? Should I take a lot of flyers, a lot of business cards? Look, remember that the majority of stuff that you take with you is going to be thrown away unless you physically speak to the person and you give them your card or some kind of material that maybe they asked for or that came up during the conversation, right? So less is more. If anything, I'm going to only carry one flyer or one piece of information or whatever it is that I'm taking, because I can use that as plausible deniability to get their information. Hey, this is my last flyer. You know what? This is what I'll do. I'll go ahead and snap a picture of it and I'll text it to you so you have it. What's the best number? 305, all right? I'm gonna start the area code and get their number. So I wanna put myself in an advantageous position. In addition to that, if you go around holding 100 flyers or 100 pieces of things, guess what? People are probably not gonna open the door, and they're not gonna be as receptive because they think you're just some nuisance going around handing out flyers and junk mail that they don't wanna keep. So keep that in mind. Next, stay off your phone. A lot of people in between homes are staring at their phone. They're scrolling on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook and social media, and that is 100% a waste of your time, and it makes you look non-professional and kind of silly. So while you're out, either have your phone off or only have it open when you're about to capture somebody's information. Stop scrolling, stop mindlessly going through Instagram and Facebook and distracting yourself. What you need to do is maximize your conversations, stay focused, stay in a good mood, and make sure that you do what it is that you need to do to maximize the results you get at the door. And the phones especially have become a tremendous distraction and kind of like a coping mechanism. It's almost like when you go out in public, right? If people are socially awkward, what do? They start looking at their phones and scrolling through their messages and making it seem as if they're on their phone when they're not, just to avoid socializing, putting their head up, making eye contact with people, and actually interacting and being a human being. How interesting is that? So make sure that when you're going door to door, the phone isn't distracting you, taking you off your A game, and taking away precious time from your ability to go to the door and get results. Next, make sure that you guys have good scripts. If you need scripts, right, I have a ton of resources for free in the description that you can click and get for free, or you can leave a comment saying scripts, and then I'll link you directly to the scripts. This is more for like a general kind of door-to-door script or real estate script, but I got a ton of stuff that can help you too. Besides that though, make sure your scripts are direct, they're to the point. A lot of people are promoting scripts, or I think creating scripts, and they have zero kind of experience when it comes to sales. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. You know, they're doing like scripts based on apologizing and asking permission for stuff, and it's weird and it's off-putting because it makes people absolutely feel like you're being disingenuous, and you don't want to do that. With that said, keep it clear, keep it direct. We're looking to have impactful, short, clear, and concise conversations at the door. We're not looking to draw things out. We're not looking to tell stories. We're not looking to tell or hear life stories. We're not there to be there 20 minutes to try to build rapport. Again, all the nonsense that a lot of people are teaching and talking about. You want to get in and get out as quick as possible, be respectful of your time. More importantly, be respectful of their time. And then if you can make a sale, you make a sale. If not, you capture their information and you sell to them in the future. It's really that simple. And I think the more that we understand that, hey, this is business and we're not here to chit chat, the better it's gonna be for you. And the question comes up, well, Brian, what if I get somebody who's chatty? I don't wanna be rude and cut them off. Well, look, if somebody's being too chatty and you're having trouble kind of cutting off the conversation, say, look, I hate to interrupt Mr. and Mrs. Client or customer. I got to get going. I have an appointment to run to. Let's do this. We've had a great conversation. Let's continue this. You available to grab lunch this weekend? And set up during the week multiple times where you go to lunch and you invite some of these people that you had great conversations with. Because guess what? You're going to eat anyway, and it's a fantastic opportunity for you to build that professional relationship, spend time with somebody, converse while you're already taking your own break and having some food. It's that simple. So that's how you can leverage spending more time with them, being more concise and precise with your door knocking, and getting yourself out of those situations where you have to talk to people or feel as if you need to talk to people for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes just because you don't want to be rude. Next, if you're not going to commit to doing at least 100 residential doors like these homes, right, at a time, and you're not going to do it at least 4 to 5 days a week, I won't even bother door knocking. You know why? Because you're not going to make enough contacts and you're not going to get enough at-bats to do anything, right? We need to stop this, well, you know, I went out and I made the effort. I knocked on 5 doors or 10 doors. Look, you're just wasting your time. We have to stop walking on eggshells and rewarding minimal behavior. I get it. Everybody's scared of rejection. Everybody's hesitant. But look, if you don't take massive action, you're not going to get results. That's just what it is. You have to take massive, consistent action. If you don't, doing all these things are a waste. They really are. And when you give yourself more opportunities, more at-bats, more conversations, right, at the door, you're going to do so much better. You're going to shorten the learning curve. You're going to build more confidence. You're going to get better at your scripts. You're going to get better at handling objections, right? It's just going to be night and day difference. So you need to make sure that you get out there at least 4 to 5 days a week and that you're hitting 100 doors at a time. Because if you're not doing that, you're wasting your time. Brian, what's the most important thing when it comes to going door to door? It's not how you dress. It's not your attitude. All these things that I'm naming, by the way, are important, but it's not just these things. It's not the weather. It's not the time that you door knock. You know what it is? It's your consistency. Because you could follow all my advice and do everything. If you're not consistent, you're not going to do well. You're not going to get results. You're not going to get enough attempts. You're not going to have enough conversations. And you're not going to be doing enough flat out to get anywhere with prospecting, lead generation, door knocking, or whatever it is. So you have to be consistent. That's what carried me. I door knocked for years, 5, 6, 7 days a week, and I never stopped. And that's why I made it through the pain period. I got through the areas and times when I wasn't that good. And I was able to get to the point where I felt confident. I knew my scripts. I was able to get consistent results, capture people's information, make sales. Because again, I was in real estate, right? So maybe 1 out of every 100, 150, 200 people that I would talk to at the door were ready, willing, and able to do something in the near future. The vast majority of people that I met weren't ready now. I was capturing their information and then I was doing business with them in the future. So you have to understand that this is the long game. And whether you make the sale immediately at the door or you're playing the long game like I was, mixed with some short-term success. You need to understand that you need to do this consistently to build your database, to get results, to get the short-term quick wins, to get the long-term wins, and build something that's sustainable. Because the whole goal with going door to door and doing a lot of these things is, in the end, you build up a customer database, a CRM, right? Sphere of influence, whatever you want to call it, that becomes referral based. And when you start selling your product or service referral based, and customers that you've met in the past are giving you business for themselves, like they're buying your product or service, then they're sending you their friends. Now you've built something where you don't have to hustle anymore. And that's the whole point of this thing long term. Nobody wants to sit there and make cold calls and door knock forever. So if you do this thing right and you do it consistently and you do it at a high level, after a couple years, you'll be able to chill and you'll be contacting and working mainly referral based with people that you've already met, that there's a connection with. Those are warm contacts and calls. They're not cold calls and cold door knocks. So that's the vision that you need to keep in mind every single day when you're out here knocking on doors and doing your thing. Because if you do that, then in the long run, you're gonna win, you're gonna be happier, you're gonna be more fulfilled, and you're gonna have a lot more fun running your business. Next, you're gonna have to become very comfortable with, familiar with, and embrace rejection. I've talked about this a lot on my channel over the years, whether it's door knocking, sales stuff, real life stuff. And what you need to really get is, if you want to run a business, if you want to be a salesperson, right? If you want to live life comfortably, confidently, build great relationships, have a tremendously high level of self-confidence, you're going to have to really change your worldview and perspective, understanding and application around rejection. Rejection, right? It's everywhere. It's in sales, it's in the dating world, right? Our friends are gonna reject us. I mean, everywhere you look, rejection is a part of life. And if you don't learn how to embrace it and conquer it, you're always gonna be kind of like a slave to it and underneath it, and you're never going to be able to break free from it. Similar to other people's opinions and criticisms, right? How many people fail to go after what they want, fail to express themselves on social media openly, and fail to really do what they want because they're afraid and they're hesitant due to other people's criticisms and judgments. So you're either going to be shackled by these things, or you're going to learn to deal with them and conquer them. That way you'll have the freedom and you'll break out of the cage, so to speak, in order to, again, go after what you want, be happy, be fulfilled, and be able to operate at the highest level. The reason I'm able to operate so consistently, diligently, with so much discipline, and feel like I'm outpacing other people is it's not because I'm more talented or special, it's because I removed a lot of these blocks. And working with the right people, getting the right training, and consistently doing these things over and over will develop that ability within you to be able to do the same. You know, another very important point that people fail to consider, y'all, is in spite of technology advancing, AI coming out, and all these things, at the end of the day, human beings crave connection. We're social creatures. And door to door is always going to be one of those special things that it may be unannounced, it may be surprising, it may even technically be uninvited, right, or unwanted. However, it's something interesting. And when you get really good at it, and you can touch people at that level socially and make them feel good. And I'll give you an example here in a second of what I'm talking about. It's just irreplaceable. So again, as much as technology is a factor, I really think this will always hold a special place that unless you do it and you get good at it and you do it at a high level, you won't really make that connection. So what are some examples? Well, remember back during 2020 when we had all the shutdowns, I remember specifically telling my team, and I went out as well, to go door to door, because I said, look, everybody's locked up. You know, people may not realize it, but they're kind of probably getting tired of being in the home. They're getting tired of being around the same, 5 or 10 people, and they're just craving attention from other people, conversation, just the social aspect of being a human being. And when we went door to door, I remember announcing it and people telling me I was crazy. But when we went door to door, it blew my mind how receptive people were, how excited they were to see us. And I will never forget that, because that confirmed everything I had been saying and learning over the years, and it cemented this stuff. And it made it crystal clear to my team members, especially some of the newer ones back then, that hey, this stuff is legit, this stuff works, this stuff is a blessing to some people. So when you look at door to door, understand the power and the weight of it beyond just, oh, I'm going to make a sale, or, oh, you're just an annoying salesperson, like both perspectives, but see something bigger here and deeper. That's really what's at stake here. That's really what this represents. And that 2020 experience, right, and some of the other things that I have done and accomplished and seen and witnessed and experienced myself going door to door, I don't care what anybody says. It's worth its weight in gold. It's proven itself to be worthy. And at the end of the day, barring extenuating circumstances or the things here or there that are very rare that could be perceived as negative, overall, it's positive. People enjoy it. I'm providing a great service, and so would you. And it's something that you definitely need to do. Another thing I want to comment on here, make sure that you guys master the short-term and the long-term game. I mentioned it a little bit earlier, but make sure that whenever possible, you make the sale on the spot or get the appointment or whatever it is that you're doing when you go door to door, but make sure that you're playing the long game. Grab people's information. Stay and ask a couple more questions to connect with people, and then get their cell phone number and their email. Build up your database and build up your business for long-term growth and success. A lot of people get into door to door just thinking of that quick, short-term, immediate sale. And as much as you want to be attuned to that and be able to do it, you do not want to neglect the long-term game. Otherwise, you'll be stuck in that chase and hustle mode forever, and nobody wants to do it. So make sure that you're playing the field entirely, not just being short-sighted and wanting the quick sale.